how to make $10,000 on every wholesale deal. So let's say, for instance, you're targeting just a nice area of town. Let's say the properties in the area go for $250,000. 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, $250,000, 2,000 square feet, nice little area of town, monthly mortgage payment on something like that. Let's say it's $1,700 a month. Okay. You have an area, let's say nowadays in 2018, this is May 2018, so it is a hot market in a lot of different areas. And so you go ahead and let the seller know, you'd be able to go ahead and help them to go ahead and take care of the monthly payment. And you'd be able to go ahead and get someone into the property, and they'd be able to go ahead and take care of the monthly payment and be able to purchase the property 1 year from whenever you all sit down and write up the agreement. So what you're going to do is you're going to negotiate a wholesale lease option. And this is how you make $10,000 on every wholesale deal that you enter into on pretty houses with no equity, right? Let's assume with that scenario, the values are at $250. The loan amount is $247, $245. Let's say $247,000. So there's no equity, very little equity, right? And so what you do is the seller is highly motivated and they've lost their job and they're stressed out. And so what they do is they know that you are a real estate professional and this is what you do because you specialize in the wholesale niche. And so what you do is you go ahead, you get the property under a lease option agreement. All right. I know many of you are going to go ahead and talk about subject twos and that. No, this is lease option video. So bear with me. So what you're going to do is with the seller, you're going to enter into a lease option agreement. Okay. Once you get that agreement, you're going to go ahead, turn around and market that cute 3-bedroom, 2-bath property for $250 in a nice area. How you market it is as such. No qualifying. You will go ahead and market the monthly mortgage payment. And or what you can do is market a little bit above the mortgage payment because you're going to attract something called a tenant buyer. You are looking for tenant buyers. What does that mean? These are people who are looking for home ownership but can't qualify as of yet. Okay? So you go ahead, you market that property. One of the best ways to market a lease option is to develop a relationship with a loan officer or a lender. Why? They're already going to have people that have been turned down for a mortgage already in their pipeline. Okay? People that couldn't qualify for a specific reason, whether that be credit or income. And it's not that they lack income. It's just that they haven't been on their job for a long period of time. So let's say, for instance, you find somebody who's a strong candidate for a buyer of that property 1 year from the time you go ahead, you write up the agreement. Why would you go ahead and contact a loan officer? Good question. The reason being is, number one, you want to develop a relationship with a loan officer because they're going to continue to feed you leads. They're going to continue to feed you good candidates for buyer leads that can buy potentially within a year from the time you contact them. All right? These are great sources of buyer leads, lender turn down, or loan officer turn downs. These are people that the loan officer already has all their information in front of them. And so they'd be like, you know what, they can't qualify today, but a year from now, yeah, they're a go. Because a year from now, they'll be on their job, as opposed to 1 year, they'll be on the job 2 years. A year from now, you know, that credit goes from, let's say, 575 to 680, 720. Now they're able to buy. Okay. So what you do, you work with the loan officer, and what you do is explain to the tenant buyer, the future buyer, okay, to go ahead and get into this property. There is no, you don't have to go through the lender qualification, but there is a $10,000 non-refundable option consideration towards the purchase price of the property. So what you're really doing is just setting something up for that seller. You're setting up a lease option. Somebody is going to go ahead and enter into that property, leased with an option to buy that property 1 year from the agreement. Cool. And so you go ahead, you set that up. They're going to pay you $10,000. You also, for the seller, and one thing to make it a little bit attractive is set it up to where they're paying, let's say, $1,800 a month, maybe even $1,850, because you find out in that particular area with those properties, the monthly rents in that area go anywhere between $1,600 to $1,800 a month. Okay. Now remember, the monthly mortgage payment is $1,700 a month. So let's say, for instance, you go ahead, you let them know up front, hey, you know, monthly mortgage payment is $1,800 a month. They're with it because they are looking forward to home ownership, having a home in their name. Tenant buyers oftentimes will pay you more. Most of the time, they will pay you more than market rent because they're looking to purchase that property. Okay. Also, when you set up the agreement, you can also give them a credit, which is, let's say, for instance, you give them $100 credit, which also knocks down the purchase price. It decreases the purchase price once you all go ahead and finish up your agreement. It's a beautiful way. It's a beautiful way to go ahead and buy real estate. So let me explain to you the win-win-win situation. Number one, you have a tenant buyer that is in place that is going to buy the property 1 year from the time you enter into the agreement. Number two, the seller gets somebody to go ahead and buy that property and take over those monthly payments. Number three, the seller gets a little bit of a positive cash flow. Number four, you get $10,000 non-refundable option consideration towards the purchase price of the property. This is a way to wholesale pretty houses. See, wholesaling can be not just negotiating people on super duper discounts. Wholesaling can be wholesaling pretty houses with no equity. People will pay you 10 G's all day long. They will. And it's a win-win-win situation for everyone. Okay. Like I said, some of you are going to go ahead and say, oh, no, subject. Okay. Subject tools, I'll do that in another video. But right now, lease options, there are people, there are investors out there who have gotten wealthy off of lease options. And lots of times, the more expensive the property, the bigger the profit. You know, some investors like to stay in the deal. Some investors are like, you know what, I'll just do a wholesale. As opposed to wholesaling. So with traditional wholesaling, you're wholesaling to a cash investor. With wholesale lease options, you're wholesaling to a tenant buyer. It's beautiful. It's a lot of people out there that have that kind of money down because they want home ownership. They just don't have a way to get in. Okay. I used to get contacted. I would get contacted by real estate agents in the past and ask me, Gerald, could you do a lease option on this deal? I don't know how to do it, but the seller is tired because the property's been on the market for 6 months. It's because the property was overpriced on the listing. Okay, so wholesale lease option, guys, beautiful tool. And I'm just saying, I'm using the example of $10,000. You can probably get 20. You can probably get 25. I don't know. Yeah, so think about it. This is Gerald. Have a good one. Oh, also, before I finish the video, check out the links in the description. Please click the like button. Share this with family and friends. And yeah, you all think about joining the House Flipper Family Facebook group. Growing like crazy. You know, we're a little over 2,000 now. Growing like crazy. Anyways, guys, have a good morning.